Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. Such a pleasure to meet you. If you could just give us a brief introduction to this incredible film, A Bird Flew In, what can audiences expect if they watch it?
Emotion. It's all about human emotion. So you're going to be sad, glad, and basically hopefully crying throughout several bits of the film. It's in black and white, so you can just watch the actors, listen to the words. There's a lot of poetry, and hopefully at the end of it you'll be thinking, well, I wonder what I did in my pandemic. This might be similar to one of these stories here.
And of course it's your first time in the directing chair with this film, but you've been in the film industry a while, so why was this a story that you wanted to direct your first feature film for?
I would never have directed my first feature film if the pandemic hadn't happened. Basically sat on Zooms every day. I was imagining what other people's lockdowns might be, so I started drawing pictures of people and places and things, and that's how the film happened. It was from those little scribbles on a pad next to my computer that we eventually created a film, and Dominic Wells wrote the wonderful words that went with it.
And you've managed to assemble such an incredible cast, you know, with Sadie Frost and Camilla Rutherford and lots of other people. So, you know, how do you decide on the people to be in your film and kind of work with them, you know, to build all these different vignettes and these different narratives to put them all together?
Well, the agents were really helpful, bearing in mind that we started to cast this just as the first lockdown was we were coming out of it, so people's availability, whether people actually wanted to be filmed or not, bearing in mind that people were isolating, etc. So we had really good help from agents and friends of friends to, you know, make this ensemble cast. You know, we've got those that you mentioned, plus Derek Jacobi, Julie Dre. We've got such a good cast, Jeff Fahey, and every single one of them started to call their character by the character's name, and they were trying to relate that through their own experiences through lockdown too.
And there's a very specific sort of feel to it in terms of, you know, the naturalistic performances. Obviously, you've chosen to do it in black and white. Can you talk us through some of those decisions and how it added to telling your story?
My father was educated me in film from being quite a young age, and my favourite type of film is black and white. So that, to me, was a choice that needed to be discussed with our cinematographer, Sergio Delgado, and my producer, Ben Charles Edwards. And basically, black and white was seen to be the most preferred medium, because when I was explaining everything to everybody, it was to take the colour out and let the emotion come through. So if we had coloured it, then people would be concentrating on you know, the pastiche colours and all that styling to do with the colours, rather than concentrating on what was in people's hearts and heads. So that was the main reason. Then we decided to go with vintage lenses, which just the way the light was captured on there, and the light was giving hope because they were all stuck inside apart from Naomi. So really what I wanted to do was to heighten that feeling of us being in a pressure cooker environment for all of that time that we all went through.
And what do you think people will take away? Because of course the film, you know, I mean, it's not been that long since lockdown ended, but it feels like maybe we're all trying to forget that it happened, and whether that's the healthiest thing for our mental health, and just highlighting how, like you said, like that pressure cooker, and how it made us reflect on our lives and our relationships in a way that I can't imagine any other circumstance where we would do in that way.
I think that is probably, you know, when we came out the first lockdown, we never expected another or even another after that. And hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? And should we have waited until the other lockdowns had happened? I was asked this question earlier today, and I thought very hard about it, and no, because I think we've captured that exact moment in time. We weren't used to it. Why would we be? It's the first time in our lifetimes, that we've had to endure something like this. So I hope that what people take out of it is a sense of we got through it, a sense of we have all changed. John Smith, our brilliant editor, he's actually quoted in the film. He's one of the voices. It sounds like a radio report. He says our lives will never be the same, and why shouldn't we honour that period in time? And whether it's too soon or maybe people will see it in years to come and look back and say that film is, relates to what we did and everything. Then I don't know. All I try to do is my best on the people I'd created on a piece of paper.
And it does feel like there's a strong female perspective in the film. How do you see the cinema landscape right now for female directors and storytellers? And can you tell us if you're going to be doing another film, or are you going to be producing?
I think the landscape's brilliant and has been for the last few years for female filmmakers. I think the problem is that our independent film industry still needs more of a boost. I think we were flying before lockdown, but I think post-lockdown, a lot of investors who invested in independent film are, a bit concerned about our economic state at the moment, as a lot of us are, prices rising, etc., etc. So I think all filmmakers need a hand at the moment, but we have always supported, myself being CEO of Goldfinch, I set up Goldfinch to help independent filmmakers and especially women. Our short film fund does exactly that. We just had the winner of our female focus short film fund announced. So hopefully if all of us can help everybody who wants to get a leg up in the film business, then that would be great.
Amazing. Well, thanks so much for sharing all that. Let's enjoy the night. Thank you.